The processing of horses for meat in the U.S. has been a large ethical issue in today's society for many decades. In this documentary, we will discuss the history of horse slaughter on a national and global scale, then making an ethical argument in favor of horse slaughter in the U.S. In the U.S., horse meat has mostly been called poor man's beef from the beginning of commercial scale horse meat in the late 1800s. The rise and fall of demand depended on the U.S.'s involvement in World War I and II. With wartime came an increase in domestic demand for additional protein sources when beef was shipped to troops overseas. In 2006, the last three horse slaughter plants in the U.S. were forced to shut their doors by the Horse Slaughter Prevention Act. Since then, U.S. horses are still shipped to Mexico or Canada for slaughter, and meat shipped overseas to Europe and Asia. From 2006 through 2010, U.S. horse exports for slaughter increased by 148 and 660% to Canada and Mexico, respectively. In 2011, the GAO conducted several studies on the U.S. without horse slaughter. One of those, found in the Colorado data, showed that investigations for horse neglect and abuse increased more than 60% from 2005 to 2009. One major hold on horse slaughter is the availability of federal funding for proper inspection and regulation. Horses are not classified federally as food animals, and therefore drugs are regularly administered to horses that are not approved by the FDA.
Moving to a global scale, horse slaughter is allowed in neighboring countries Canada and Mexico. It is also allowed in many countries throughout Europe and Asia. Some of the largest importers of horse meat for human consumption are Italy, Belgium, Russia, and France. In Europe, horse meat is considered a delicacy, and prices can be found as high as $20 a pound.
So now we're going to talk about the finances when it comes to horse slaughter. The ban in the United States happened in 2006, and it prevented slaughter facilities in the U.S. from slaughtering horses. This caused the horse market to crash. Before shutting down the horse processing industry, the United States horse meat industry was valued at around $65 million per year. During this time, there was livestock auctions that were selling anywhere from 100 to 200 horses per month, and now they're saying they're lucky to see 100 come in per year. This has been able to be viewed with a decline of about 20% in most price categories. The only part of the horse industry that has not really seen a drop in the net worth of their horses was the high-tier race industry and show industry.
According to responses received from a survey conducted by the University of Maine, the average annual cost of possession is $3,876 per horse. Hand grain are a large portion of that cost and end up averaging more than $1,000 per year. Veterinarian fees that include routine checkups and vaccinations are another significant expense that comes with horse ownership, averaging $485 every year. Horse should be trimmed or shoed regularly. The annual expense of trimming is about $350, while shoeing can be even more costly depending on the condition of the horse's hooves. Boarding is another factor when it comes to owning a horse. While it is significantly cheaper for an owner to keep a horse on their own property, they will most likely spend between $260 to $600 a month if they choose to board it at a facility. If they keep it in their own pasture or stable, the cost could potentially be around $800 per year to keep up with maintenance. In addition to ongoing costs of horse ownership, there are several potential occasional expenses an owner must be prepared to pay. Among these are tack and grooming supplies, riding equipment, unexpected vet bills, competition prices, and training.
When it comes to the life of any animal, no person in their right mind wants to see an animal suffer. However, horses are now starting to suffer because of the increase in abandonment. The cost to maintain an unwanted horse every year, especially at rescues, is anywhere around $2,300 per year. The estimated retirement age for most horses is around 11 years, so that is over about $25,000 that have to be spent on a horse just to keep it alive and properly cared for.
With horse slaughter being illegal today in the United States, it has led to rescues being full. As horses are being abandoned and dumped there by their owners, it forces rescues to attempt to take over care. With the rescues being so full, it is impossible to properly care for each horse. With horse slaughter being illegal in the United States, it leads nowhere else for these animals to go, even though they are still not properly cared for. If slaughter was legal, it would decrease the numbers at these rescues, allowing for better treatment for those that are dumped there, and also allowing a place for them to then move on to.
As stated earlier, allowing the slaughter of horses would give a purpose to unwanted horses, and allow for owners to recoup some of their losses taken on a horse that is unusable. For example, for easy math, an average quarter horse is around 900 to 1,200 pounds. So if you take a 1,000-pound horse, it's worth around 21 to 34 cents a pound. It's not a huge profit margin, but allows them to see anywhere from $200 to $350 back on a horse that is otherwise unused and just taking up money. I'm not saying horse slaughter should be used as a market to try and make money like the beef or poultry industry. Rather, I think it would give unwanted, unusable, and injured horses a purpose and allow the U.S. to have another opportunity to feed some more people in the world. It would allow for more job opportunities, it would allow for population control, and in all, it would ensure that a majority of the horses that are in the United States would be able to be properly taken care of and maintained.